Yo, what's up? Lior Vaknin here. And I wanted to share with you guys this interview for a high ticket sales position in my company. Because a lot of you guys are probably going to watch this video or now thinking about getting into high ticket sales, or maybe you're already part of a program and you're like, oh my god, how do I go about these appointments? How does it really look like? So I wanted to give you a insider's look and really a window into how I, as a coaching program business owner, how I view applicants and some of the feedback that I gave this applicant on his interview.
A lot of work.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what is like 4 or 5 months?
I've had it now for so many years that I don't know how long it took to grow. I remember it was rough at first, but if I shave it now, I feel like so much of my identity is my mustache that I won't know who I am and I'm just gonna be another guy. So
Yeah. Steve the mustache guy. Awesome, man. So pleasure meeting you. Told me a little bit about you, but I'd love to hear a bit more about you, your background, what made you decide to hop on this call, and then I'll tell you a little bit about local service mastery, and we could just go from there.
yeah. So if I'm looking off to the side, just so I'm taking notes, just I like to keep track of kind of details that I need to talk about. But yeah, so really right off the bat, what made me hop on this call. So just so you know, this is so in the last 4 to 5 years, I've been in door-to-door sales, door-to-door, working roofing, siding, windows. I'm a contractor by trade, and I've done manual labor for pretty much my whole adult life, putting myself through school. And then I always wanted to try sales. And a few years ago, a buddy of mine, best sales guy I've ever met. But it took him 6 months to convince me to kind of take the leap of faith. And I ended up joining that company that I worked at for 4 years. And yeah, I started out as a sales rep doing door to door, quickly progressed and, through the ranks, ended up being a sales manager ultimately at the very end for the last 2 years. And the only reason I left, it wasn't performance based. There was some organizational changes across the whole company that really just changed the dynamic, and it just wasn't something that aligned with my goals. Nothing bad. Organizations do that. And so I kind of decided to move on from there. So
Just to hold you off for a second on this. So first of all, where is this? Where are you located?
In the U.S.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Actually, you
Yeah.
have like a cool museum over there.
Yeah.
That's what I remember from.
It's a really cool cultural hub for sure. There's a lot of cool stuff here.
Yeah, and a lot of cool cafes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Winter, I bet, could be brutal, but yeah, other than that,
So I actually did door to door in the winter here.
damn.
Yeah.
Talk
So
about grit.
yeah, I'm all about it. And I actually, when I watched your videos, it was pretty cool. So just to give you a little bit about myself, who I am as a person, my parents are from They immigrated to Israel there for 5 years. Yeah, I noticed that you said that you're also from Israel, so I thought those I got a lot of family there. And then they immigrated to kind of the classic immigration route, and then eventually, but I was born in and I grew up in an immigrant household. So for me, I grew up watching my dad, for lack of better terms, work his ass off to literally survive. And so not afraid of hard work. It's actually pretty normal for me. It's my day to day. I'd say that, yeah, I'm a self starter for that reason. When your back's against the wall and you don't have any other options but to succeed, all right, make it happen, right? You pay the price to be successful. So I've always had that mindset. But anyway, that's, I think, what kind of helped launch my sales career was that tenacity to succeed, And so the door to door thing, I mean, high turnover, I'm sure you can imagine, especially knocking during the winters. I worked for one of the only companies who actually knocked during the winters. And my first year, I sold 2 million in revenue. So industry standard, a good rep in my industry on an annual basis sells 8 to 900K. My first year sold 2 million, second year 2.9, and my last year I was projecting 4.2, which would have been a company record in its existence. So I'd like to say, that those are good numbers, but obviously, I always approach the whole sales thing with blinders on, head down, you focus on yourself. It's not you versus anybody else, it's just you versus yourself, right? So I'm a lifelong learner. I'm not one of those sales guys who's like, oh, I'm the best, like I can't learn anything from anybody, I'm alpha. I don't believe in that. That's just not the way that you become the best. So, but anyway, I just word vomited a lot at you. The reason I hopped on this call is I actually believe in what you're doing. And here's what I mean by that. You're taking small business owners oftentimes, and contractors work so hard. To be successful, you have to work hard. That's just the bottom line. I'm sorry, but in order to be successful as a contractor, you have to work hard. You have to sacrifice, and I know what that takes. And so I think what you're doing is it's kind of a beautiful thing. I mean, you're empowering small business owners to take marketing into their own hands, which, like you said in your video, sales and marketing, a lot of people are really good at sales. Like, for example, I have a skill that's sales, but I've never really done marketing, and I've never taken on the path of learning how to market myself and gain business that way. And so many contractors, if they could just learn that skill, I mean, they could take their business to the next level and not constantly be churning in the same spot over and over again, trying to manage their whole business, and then hiring these agencies, like you said yourself, these agencies don't necessarily care about their success, they care about the money. And so what you said really resonated with me. I actually believe in it. And the essence of sales is the transfer of belief. If I believe in what I'm selling, so will my customer. If I don't believe in it, like there's this one offer that I was looking at, it was like dating coaching. You're gonna sell coaching programs to these guys who can't talk to women. And I'm just like, I just feel it just feels kind of icky. I don't know. It just isn't, it's not me. I can't sell that. And so your offer, it was actually something that I am 100% aligned with. I believe in it myself at a personal level and at a professional level. So that you're actually, truth be told, you're actually the only offer I've applied to. I've done some interviews here and there, but I've just been like, this is really isn't it. So that's why I hopped on the call today, and that's why I applied.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Now, I appreciate it, man. Now you mentioned that you're a contractor yourself, right?
correct.
So let me ask you this, like right now, do you just hold a license or do you run your own business? Like what's up with that side of your
Ye-
skill set?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am currently, I'm gonna say, I'm in between jobs, but there's this one company that a lot of people I've worked with in the past work for. I've kind of started to, I'm gonna call it volunteer and shadow and just kind of help out because I do have a lot of experience, and I think they're good people. Ultimately, what my personal vision is that I think I still have a lot to give to the construction industry. I would like to work for, and actually I'm wearing their shirt. I don't know if you can see it, but it's called Shoreline Roofing and Construction. So their kind of vision for me is to be a sales manager, run a small team, and then eventually maybe progress to something more multi-state. And with my background and experience, that's not unachievable goal. Someday, and I've been very transparent with them too. I've thought about starting my own business as well in this industry, but I think I'd like to just get a little bit more experience before I take something on like that. So, and I had this thought that I wanted to kind of throw your way as an idea, if you wouldn't mind. Do you mind if I take a minute here and ask? So I had this idea. I watched a ton of your customer testimonials. I didn't check out your YouTube channel yet. I was actually going to do that, but I followed you on Instagram. I was looking through your social media, just trying to learn as much as I can about what you offer and do. And I had this idea, like, who better to speak to your product than someone who's literally a contractor and who, works for you. And that, if I got the opportunity, right, works for you and also runs your program at their own company. And I can, in essence, document from day one, hey, brand new to this, I'm good at sales, never did marketing, right? All the way to here's what it took to become successful at this, and almost create like this vlog, or I don't know what you want to call it. And this is just an idea, and I'd be obviously willing to front the money and everything else to do it. But I can't think of a better way to be able to sell it than say, hey, I'm actually a contractor just like you. And guess what? I actually ran this program myself, and I learned how to market from scratch. And here's where it got me. Here are my numbers. Just so you know, I'm not just a sales guy trying to sell you something. I actually believe in this. So just wanted to throw that out there as an idea.
First of all, I appreciate it because this is like the best solution, which is someone who joins the program as a student, goes through it, see the transformation, and then decides on making like a pivotal career change. Whereas instead of him running his own business, like he wants that, because again, like there's pros and cons for everything. For example, right now, my sales manager, he's from Canada. At the moment, he's in Norway with his girlfriend, right? So you have like a lot more flexibility. You're not in charge of, like, yeah, like your own employees, making sure that the project's done. At the end of the day, your sole responsibility is just helping people go through that, like pass through that stage of, okay, I understand that I want it. Let me just answer your question. You don't even need to persuade them that much, because like all the sale is done on the marketing side, but your job is just like helping them go through it and join. So as for the suggestion, like, yes, the question is, would you join this as a client first and implement this for your business? And this is something that we can have on, like on the back burner, like Lior, I think that my company can gain from it. I want to bring my CEO to this. I want to introduce him to this opportunity. If he agrees, I'm going to be the one who's going to take it hands on in my company. And then we can have an open line and open discussion in a few months' time, after you already implemented, after you see the transformation for you and your business. And you're like, you know what, Lior, I like your style. Everything you say is true. I see it in my own business. And then really that what you said can really play a huge role in your conviction and the way like you do your sales and all that stuff. The question is that this is like the ride that you're looking to take.
Yeah, and I think you just asked a good question that I want to clarify on. So the reason I went through the was that I really didn't know what I wanted to do next. When I first started at the time, I was really in between jobs. I was like, do I even want to keep doing sales? Like, what is it that I want to do? And the thing with and kind of my industry is it's very seasonal. So, we got snow 6 months out of the year, half the year, right? And we can't build. And so I guess for me, my goal was to find an opportunity where I could believe in it, sell it, and in essence, be a sales professional part-time during my peak contracting season. But then during the winter, the 6 months, just go full on and increase my hours to as much as possible. Because, 40 hours a week is normal for most people. To me, that's vacation. So, and that's kind of, yeah, and that's kind of what I would like to try to find is an opportunity like that.
All right. Let me give you my 2 cents on this.
For sure.
Don't do half-ass anything. So if you want to be the number one sales rep, like for door to door or whatever you find that you're like the like you want to pursue, do it full time. And if this company of yours can't provide you this because of the conditions, because whatever it is, then find a different company, maybe, relocate to a southern state, go to Texas, go to Florida, go to wherever, but be the best at it. And then you can, of course, go and start your own company and do this like 12 months out of the year. If you want to do, like high ticket sales, like appointment setting and high ticket sales, like you need to decide that this is what you want. I don't know if anyone, maybe people would be interested in it. I know that I wouldn't want to invest my time and energy into someone who's looking at this as part-time. Now it's peak season for him. Now summer, forget about it. Is like he's all busy. Like no business owner would, as far as I can see, maybe you will find it. But for me, for sure, just because like I invest so much into people who join the company, into training, into coaching, into mentoring, refining them, investing also like money at the end of the day, where we're not, if I'm giving you 4 or 5 appointments a day as an example, and you're not closing any of them, like I lost like 5 to 10K minimum, like just on like these, unfulfilled leads, right? So that's why I'm like be careful, like with this idea of me doing this a little bit and this a little bit and doing it 50%. No, just decide what you want to do. Are you married right now?
No, I have a partner. We've been together for a while though.
Okay. And like Do you guys want to stay in Minnesota? Do you guys like what's your long-term goal?
Yeah, I guess long term is just not necessarily, but flexibility. She's like a, mental health therapist, so she can do like virtual therapy. But for me, I'm a little bit, if I do contracting, right, I'm kind of a little bit more tied. I have to be at a physical location. So, and that's kind of when I kind of start to explore the online space and trying to find something that is still related to contracting that I can actually believe in, but be able to be anywhere in the world.
Yep.
So that's kind of the path I've started to take. The big question that I've always just kind of wondered is like, is it even possible to make money online as a sales professional? I'm so used to in person that it's hard to like fathom that. And so that's why the was so appealing. I was like, man, they teach you how to sell virtually in essence, right? And so, yeah, and yeah, that's how I got here to this point, right?
Yeah. So first of all, your partner already shows you that it's possible. Now, what I would say, first of all, and we have therapists in a program, like it's not just like the general contractors and roofers and stuff like that. So what I would advise you, first of all, go and check the YouTube channel. Go and watch did you watch the case study video?
Yes, yes, I did.
This one, let me just make sure. This one?
Yes, yep,
All
I
right.
did. I did.
Go ahead and watch this with your girlfriend, because what you will find is that maybe it's, oh my God, like this is a skill set, right? Like this is something that you personally can gain from. Now, you can come into the program, okay? You can come into the program as a student with the idea of, let me learn this so we can build our future and I can learn how to sell and how to market my girlfriend's practice and her business. Because just this itself can allow you the flexibility and allow you to really work from anywhere. So you don't have to work physically. If you decide, oh my God, this is amazing, you can go on and just reach out to all these different contractors and come to them and it's like, hey, I'm a marketing agency. I know your pain point, but I also know now Google ads and Facebook ads and SEO at the highest levels in the game. And of course, ideally, you'd be like, Lior, I simply love what you're doing. I want to work for you now that I already went through the program. So now this is something that's I think would be way more relevant for all sides, for you and for me. Whereas you're already in the program. This is a skill set that regardless of whether you ended up joining us as a sales rep or a sales manager or want to grow with us and with the company, this is something that is tangible for you guys as a unit to make money. And even regardless of your girlfriend, you have plan B, which is you becoming basically, you can offer your agency services for people where it's like, I know exactly what needs to be done. And now 3 months in, 4 months in, once you're like, again, like Google ads, it'll take you, it'll take you like 5 days. It'll take you 3 hours. Like I usually like tell people it's like 3.5 hours training. You go over it twice, 1 hour a week. Sorry, 1 hour a day, 5 hours a week. Like in a week or so, like you'll understand, you get it. And so you'll implement all these things that you learn on your girlfriend. Does it make sense? Like the way I trade it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in 2-3 months time max, you will already master it. And then we can have a more serious conversation, whereas you know my style, you've seen the results yourself, you know everything. And then like the way with, the level of conviction you'll come with, the like how you would really see, not just everyone can say, Lior, I can relate. No offense, God forbid, but like everyone can say I can relate to them as much until you're all right. I see it in my own business, in my own life, and in everything that I do, the amount of like the impact that this like program has on people's lives. I want to grow with you. And then like this is okay, let's go, right? Because now you're like 110% into it, into what we do. So if you ask me, this is a route that's more relevant. But you need to first sit with yourself, decide what you want to do with your life, man. Do you want to continue to sell like projects door to door in January, February, or you want to have the flexibility of working anywhere in the world, having the sales skill, and also powering yourself with the marketing skill. And now this is like something that's completely different.
Yeah, I see the route that you're talking about, and that's a huge part of, I think, what's so appealing is that you're literally teaching people how to market online. Like that's
You're gonna
How to
learn how to
fish.
fish.
yeah, and like you said yourself, that is a transferable skill to literally anything, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not definitely not against that idea. I think for me, like you said, like sitting down and not half-assing two things, right? Figuring out exactly what I want to do and the lifestyle one, right? So if I'm gonna, and I appreciate you kind of walking me through and just walking through your thought process as a business owner. I completely understand where you're coming from. You're about to put a ton of time and effort into somebody. You don't want them to not perform, obviously, it's a sales position. And B, you want them to be committed and actually believe in what you're doing because you're building that type of culture. That's the type of team you want, right?
Yep.
You want someone bought in. So I appreciate the transparency. And yeah, I think that I will seriously look at becoming a student first and prove that it works. But ultimately, if you're open to it, I would like to eventually, when it does work, try to revisit the conversation to see if I could come join the team.
Oh, 100%, man. Like again, because if you come in and you see the transformation, like this is the biggest advocate that I need for the program. Like I won't need to like hold your hand and like you would, dude, like with every person that you'd be on a call, it would be such an easy closes for you where you'd be like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not only a contractor myself, I went through the program and
Yeah.
I know for a fact. So it's like I'm sold and you're transferring that energy. Like you said, it's all about energy. So you're transferring that energy and that to any sales. So like your sales number and like your closing rate would be off the charts. So 100% this is something that and again, like I'm not trying to convince you to join just for the sake of joining. I'm just trying to show you a way where both of us can have 100% conviction that this is the right path. Because when you join a program as a student, this is something that you will take with you to your life, regardless of whether you join Local Service Mastery as a sales rep or not. But then, if you're like Lior, I've seen it, I understand it, I know now what you're saying. It's a no-brainer for me, like to take someone that went through this as a sales rep. That's like an ideal scenario. So let's do this. Let's like take the weekend, discuss this with your significant other, walk her through it, go over my YouTube channel, check everything out, like see if this is it. If this is it, also like I'll also like I'll cut you off a deal on the program, so you won't have to pay like the full price of the program, because again, like we have that understanding that ideally, again, I don't want you to commit right now, but ideally, if this all makes sense in 2 or 3 months time, like we're looking into potentially building like a future together of you joining Local Service Mastery. So if it all makes sense, yeah, man, for sure.
Absolutely. I guess an important question to ask, if you don't mind, is I typically, when you see sales reps come into their first year, what is their biggest obstacle? Like, why do they fail?
So to be honest, man, and I've let go of someone like recently, great guy, wasn't an A player, and I have zero patience and zero room to like indulge with being a babysitter. Like if I'm telling you something, I expect you to follow it. If you don't know something, man, like I'll guide you, I'll walk you through. We're doing daily sales call, like everything. But if I'm telling you something and I see that you're half-assing and you're slacking and you're like you're just like not putting everything into it, it's not gonna work. It's not, I'm not like, my vision is like in the next 5 to 10 years, building this into a 9-figure business. I'm looking for A players who want to join this rocket ship early on so they can ideally become leaders of the future in the company, people who then will manage teams, will manage, like whole departments. So if this is not you, absolutely not. And second thing, of course, it's on a more technical level, is like know what you're talking about. And for you, it's like you're 50% there because you're coming from the service background. You're not the tech or finance bro who's like, like at the end of the day, like service business owners and contractors, it's like it's a different breed. So it's like you need to speak the language, like you need to have some thicker skin and like be a straight shooter. Like you can't be like, oh, like, like let me walk all around the bush. No. So it's like you're 50% there. Now the other 50% that's missing is like the technicality of it, which is what you're going to learn inside the program. So if you have this, if you're like a true A player where you're like, Lior, like I'm gonna like put my head down. I'm like, whatever we decide, this is what's gonna be. And if I have a question, of course, like I'll come and we're all for like, having as transparent and as blunt conversation as possible. What do I do about this? What do I do about this? But at the end of the day, again, especially with sales, 90% it's nonverbal, man. It's 90% nonverbal. And to get to that level of conviction and to get to that level of performance, you have to know what you're talking about. You can't just come and trying to follow a script. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I actually was interested in some marketing agencies. I see the Facebook ads like, hey, roofers get 10 free roofs, whatever, right? And I booked some calls and I could just tell they were reading off a script, and it might work on some people, but I come from sales, I can tell pretty quick. So you're 100% right. I mean, yeah, like I don't know how to run the ads, but I can speak that language 100%. I understand what they're going through and how we could help. I guess this is a kind of an open-ended question and kind of straight to the point. I mean, how much do you see someone making on an annual basis pre-tax in this type of industry with what you're building? Like, what do reps typically make, do you think, as a range maybe?
So my current rep does between like right now with his closing rate, like between 8 to 12K a month.
Okay.
And ideally, like it gets a little bit better. It will be like 15 to 20K a month.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say is the most common objection that you hear from contractors to signing up for this? Nothing. There's really nothing.
You're tense that no, man. Like there is no objection. All objections are handled on the marketing side.
Gotcha.
I'm not even indulging with people who aren't serious. So it's like you watching the breakdown, you self-qualify yourself to be on a call. And at the end of the day, you're just helping them cross that bridge. That's it. That's it.
Got it. And I don't know if you can share this or not. Maybe this is part of the sales process, but if I were to do the program, right, move forward with it, how much is the program, and then how much money would I need to put in on a monthly basis to successfully run this, you think?
So the program itself it's 7,500, but we're doing it like we have like a one-time offer for people who join on the call for 5K. With you, it will be discounted. And for your girls, like for a practice, how many leads is she currently bringing like a month?
So she actually works for like a private clinic. So
She's licensed?
She's licensed, yeah. Yep.
And can she do things on the side, like for her own practice?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. She's never really thought about it. I mean, I could ask.
This is something that you need to figure out, man. This is something that you need to figure out. But in any case, this is technical. Like this is a bridge that we can for sure pass. Like I'm not worried about this. The thing that you need to ask yourself, and again, like you guys can think about this together, go over it this weekend, is like, if this is the path that you're looking for yourself, if this is what you want to do in life. And it's totally fine if you say, no, I want to be a contractor. I want to, ideally in a couple of years, I want to open my own construction company. And that's totally fine. But those are like different things. Those are different things. That being said, even if you decide that you want to open up a construction company, this program is a must, right? But just like for the sake of transparency and fairness, if you decide that, Lior, I understand I want to open up a construction, like you'll just enroll as any other person. But if you'll be like, no, I understand that I want to be remote, I want to have the flexibility, I want to do all this. So we'll talk different numbers. But you need to decide what you want to do with your life. You need to decide what type of path you want to take. Do you want to be stationary, open up a company with local employees, with all that stuff? Or you want to have full flexibility, work anywhere in the world? Obviously, we work in US time zone, so you just need to either work nighttime or go to Costa Rica or wherever it is, down in Florida, down in Cali, wherever you want. But have this, just focus on helping people make the transformation. And there's pros and cons to each of them, but you need to decide. No one can decide this for you.
Yeah, 100%. The last question that comes to mind, how many hours would you say your team works on a weekly basis? Is it like overtime as much as it takes, or is there like 30 hours, 40 hours? Like, what do you typically see?
See, this is like a type of question that I hear from people who are usually afraid of hardware. It's like, okay, how much time is it? As a remote closer, and again, ideally, like obviously you won't start just as a closer, so like it'll be like appointment setting and closing. It's just like, dude, I want to be there all day, like 6 days a week if I can, even 7. Let me just close. Let me just like bring in this commission.
There isn't like a limit, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
No. Obviously, it's like 6 days a week, 9 to 5. Yeah, that's the normal. But I expect right now, let's say you're working on a deal, and the prospect saying, I'll be only tonight, I'll be in front of a computer so we can finalize the deal. Dude, so you're like, yeah, no problem.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, like yesterday, like was up until like 1 or 2 a.m. just so we can finalize the deal. So it's like you need to have that like killer instinct where it's like, no, like I need to get it done. You're not a 9 to 5er.
Yeah. The reason I ask is I wanted to really find out if there's only like 30 hours worth of work, or is it pretty kind of unlimited? Like, hey, work as much as you want. Like, let's go. Like, let's make it happen.
My goal is to keep you as busy as possible. I want you to be on a call at least like 4 to 6 calls a day, qualified, like that. All right. If you're on the call, you already watched the breakdown, you already understand what we're doing, you already consented, like you already understand that it's like mid 4 figures. Like now it's just like, let's cross that bridge.
Yeah, got it. Okay. All right. I really appreciate how transparent and just blunt you are with information. I actually wish more people would do that, because you don't want to waste your time and you also don't want to waste mine. And I really respect that. And vice versa. That's why I kind of said, hey, this is what I was hoping to accomplish, but kind of want to hear your thoughts. And I think what you laid out makes a lot of sense. You're right. Give me the weekend. I would like to go through the program. Like, that is something I want to gain that skill. Like, I think it's invaluable and it's something I'm missing. So either way, I'll be in touch. And then I'm going to also see, like, budgeting wise, if I would pay for the whole thing, or if maybe my company can help somehow. So I'm going to talk to them about that. So
that's fine. My only piece of advice is, just for the sake of fairness, if you're thinking about joining for the sake of later on joining as a sales rep, I think it would be unfair to have your company like pay for it. Do it out of your own pocket. And of course, if you're joining and like you're becoming a sales rep, like we can even figure out a way for you to get reimbursed, over time with the commissions that you're making. So like I like to be fair in business. I don't like people who are trying to screw me over, and I don't want my team to screw someone over. This is something, this
Mhm.
is your own personal decision whether you
Yeah.
want to take it, or not. If you want to learn this because you decide that you want to continue with the company, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Absolutely, you should get your boss in and all that stuff. But if you're coming with the intention of later on joining the company as a sales rep, I think that this is something that you need to take on yourself, and this is something that, yeah.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and that's what I need to think about is what do I want to do here. So, no, thank you for the information. Thanks for being transparent, and you'll hear from me one way or another. I'll keep you in the loop, and I'll email just so that he's in the loop. But yeah, thanks for your time, and I know I'm sorry we couldn't make it work at the time, but hey, there's always the future.
Nah, man, all good, all good. Pleasure meeting you. Enjoy your weekend.
Likewise.
We'll talk soon, okay?
We'll talk soon. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you
You too,
later.
buddy.
Thank
Bye.
you.
So I hope you find it valuable. If you did, make sure to leave a comment, hit the like, and subscribe for more information. And if you feel like you can add value to Local Service Mastery, if you want to learn more about what we do, there's going to be a link under this video that you can learn more about us. And if you think that it's relevant, then you can apply. That's it. Hope you enjoy. See you in the next one.